As she said, my name is Greg McKelvey, and I am a 23-year-old law student and an activist here in Portland. This is going to take so long if we clap every sentence I'm a head organizer for the group Don't Shoot Portland, as well as doing work with Portland Tenants United, and I was also an elected delegate for Bernie Sanders representing Oregon. Thank you. So in my real life, for a living, I'm a campaign manager and a political advisor. So I want to start by saying how grateful and humbled I am for the enormous amount of support that myself and others have gotten in our fight to ensure that Black Lives Matter in our community. I want to thank you guys for that. For those of you who don't know, over the past month, I have been involved, myself and others, in a campaign to stop our mayor from passing a corrupt and secret contract with the police association. But in the end, the contract passed. In the process, if you got blocked in traffic, I want to tell you that I will write your sick note to your boss if you need a sick note for being late to work. Some people say we block traffic too much. The last time that traffic was blocked, we had people that were injured in the street that couldn't get up. We weren't blocking traffic to block traffic. We were blocking traffic because we had members of our group that were laying on the ground that couldn't get up, that were knocked out by Charlie Hill's police force. And the ambulance wouldn't come up the street to treat them because they said it was too dangerous. So, and I understand that it's inconvenient sometimes if traffic is blocked, but you know what else is inconvenient is being Black in America. What else is inconvenient is being homeless in a city where we have 4,000 homeless people and our politicians refuse to do anything about it. That's inconvenient. So next time that you're worried about traffic, just think about that. If anybody wants an example of police disparity in our city, look no further than the enormous police presence here today. None. So we have a freedom to assemble as long as we don't demand change. Little did they know I came here to demand change once again. But I am encouraged by the tremendous amount of energy that our city put into this movement, and it makes me even more proud to call Portland my hometown, born and raised. Our people are beautiful. So thank you guys for that. But the system is not, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. First of all, I want to give a couple shout outs. First of all, Chloe Daly is running for Portland City Council. I want to encourage you guys to vote for her. She's running against Steve Novick, who has received a lot of corporate donations and has really been an enemy of all of our activists as we try and push for progressive change in our city. Also, there's a write-in campaign going on now for Teresa Rayford for sheriff. For Multnomah County Sheriff, if you want to write her in, that would be excellent. And then my close friend and the person that I'm working on running his campaign right now, James Offsink, he has a table back here. He's running for state senate. He has lawn signs back there and everything, so go check that out. If you live in inner southeast or Milwaukee, that's your guy. Also, they probably don't want me to do this, but my parents are here today. And they're sitting right over there. My dad was inducted into the Northwest Bandmasters Association, so we could clap for him for that. Raise your hand, Dad. Raise your hand. All right. Anyway, so I'm going to get right into it. So this isn't going to be popular to say, but I think it's important for us to recognize that we are all living on stolen land, and the American tradition of pillaging, destroying, and burning communities, and then building infrastructure such as pipelines, what's going on in North Dakota now, or even terminals here to benefit the few at the expense of the many, is alive and well here in Portland. Now, Portland was founded, and Oregon in general, as a white utopia. Please look into the history of Oregon. For the longest time, people could not even sell their houses to Black people. If you wonder why there's so few Black people in our city, it's because it was not a welcoming place for us to be. So Portland was not made for me. Portland was made for the types of people who we see in political office here today. For those who are willing to sell out their communities for the interests of the rich. That's who Portland was made for. So while many of our elected officials are keeping up one American pastime of funneling money from the poor to the rich, taking what isn't theirs and destroying communities, another American pastime still exists strongly here in Portland, and that's what we are utilizing here today. This is the American tradition, is the use of our natural rights to push for change, to push for progress. There is nothing more patriotic than us using our freedom of speech to demand accountability from our government. There is nothing more American than using our voices to rise up against those who work against our communities, because progress is an American value that we must utilize. So, on July 4th, 1776, our founders declared that each of us have certain unalienable rights. These are the rights that every single human are born with. They include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness. So this came before the Bill of Rights. This is what we were founded upon. So I ask you, and especially I ask our government officials, if we get priced out of our homes, if we can no longer afford this to live in the city we grew up in, if we have to choose between rent and food, then how the hell can we pursue happiness? We need politicians that come from the community, not that are scared of the community. Charlie Hills just recently said that protesters are looking for any reason to protest. We're not looking for any reason to protest. It's not fun to protest. It's not fun to get beat by the cops. It's not fun to be pepper sprayed. It's not fun to camp outside of Charlie Hills out in the biggest storm of the decade. That's not fun. We're not protesting for any reason. We're protesting because we have to fight for our lives. So anyways, there's a saying amongst those who work on good government issues that getting money out of politics is not the only issue, but it's the first issue. So right now we have a system in which politicians are beholden to their donors, not their constituents. And I'm not just talking about pay-for-play corruption here. Think about it. So if I'm a politician and I need money for my campaign, the people that I'm spending time talking to are the people that can afford to give to that campaign. However, it's the people that cannot afford to give to a campaign that are affected the most by the policies of politicians. It's the people that can't afford to give to a campaign that need the most help from our government. So, but we're rising up, right? and contrary to what some will have you believe, we're not rising up to take your guns or force you to gay marry or hand over your guest bedroom to a Syrian refugee. I'm really not here to make you apologize for your whiteness. We're simply acknowledging the pain that the wounds of American history still inflict. So let's not let those wounds fester. It's not easy for us for Americans to talk about our scars. So please don't assume anyone enjoys being a victim, because pain is not imaginary. We need to deliver real change, and to do that, we need to get the money out and the people in. We are here to show, thank you, we are here to show that love really does overcome hate, equality overcomes bigotry, freedom overcomes money, and we the people overcome those who wish to push us out of our own democracy. We don't want handouts. We don't want handouts. We don't want free stuff. We want a community that works for the people. We want politicians that are accountable to us, not developers, Comcast, gas companies, or special interests. We are not the lazy Portlanders. The lazy Portlanders are the bankers, the politicians, and the corporate elite that are trying to ruin our city. So, on that note, sometimes we are characterized as being unaware of the importance of hard work, or that we just want free stuff and handouts, which is really funny, because the dedicated faces I see here today are the people in America that have realized that freedom is not going to be free. And last I checked, the establishment sure has hell not been handing out a pass to access the American dream. The way I see it is the billionaires who want free reign to exploit our economy. And it's the corporate elite who are getting the lion's share of the handouts. If we are the lazy Americans, if we truly only desire handouts, then why are we the ones fighting for this? Why are we the ones fighting so hard? Why are we the ones willing to fight an uphill battle? Why are we the ones that come from 0% to 3% to 50, that are willing to be out in the streets, that are out willing to sleep out in the rain? We're not the lazy Americans. That's not handouts. We are the people that are willing to fight for freedom and to fight for justice. So my sisters, my brothers and sisters of all colors, whether you look like me or you don't, I tell you to fight hard for your values, because this is our opportunity. And it's going to take a lot more than rallies. It's going to take much more than rallies. Facebook posts are not enough. And lawn signs aren't going to get this done. But we have the truth, the virtue of our values, and the true American spirit on our side. It's the kind of American spirit that we use to gain our freedom from the most powerful empire in the world and declare that all of us are entitled to freedom. The spirit we use to kick slavery off of our shores and ensure that the Constitution applied to all. The spirit we use to obliterate Hitler and the Nazis, proving once more that hate will not defeat us, not us. The American spirit that lifted our nation out of the Great Depression. People forget how we did that and started to demand that the American dream be attainable for all. That is the American spirit that I sense in this crowd today, and in the movements we have going on in Portland, with my movement, with Don't Shoot, Socialist Alternative, James Offstein's campaign, Portland Tenants United, and so many other groups. We will not be silent. We will be loud. We need to rise up against big money so that the issues that face America today, such as systematic racism, institutional racism, global climate change, economic exploitation, corrupt campaign financing, and the fruits of hateful rhetoric must be addressed, and it is up to us in this room to do that. So I've been an activist here for quite some time, and I've worked in politics for almost as long. And I know for a fact how hard it is to get elected when you're up against the money. So if you're considering, should I take a lawn sign today? Should I, go and like these Facebook pages of the people that you heard speak today? Should I donate to these campaigns? That's what it takes, because we are up against one hell of a monster. I know that Portland is rapidly gentrifying. I know that the community I grew up in no longer looks the same. I know that our housing crisis is getting worse every single day. I've seen our city government sweep the houseless with no remorse, empathy, or humanity, and I refuse to watch and let this be the path of my city. So I was born and raised here in Portland, Oregon, and I'm proud to say that. And I want to thank you. And I want to continue to be proud of my city. And all eyes are on Portland. We have the opportunity to be the city that others look to as a progressive model. We cannot let that opportunity slip by. The press isn't going to spoon feed you the truth. The media does not have the same interests as you. It's we the people versus them the greedy. Pick your side and man your battle stations. We don't need to wait for a Republican or Democrat candidate that agrees with us, because we have Chloe now, we have Offset today. We don't have time to spare. We don't have time to say our time is coming, because it's now or never, and it's forever or never. Thank you guys.